Hello and welcome to Week 10 Research Methods, and we really are coming down to the wire here. Only a few weeks left in terms of the official schedule. Again, keep your pace, get things in. I'm responding to people's research projects. We have one that went out. Data is being collected on one of our studies right now, and we're not too far in some of the others, so pretty exciting. This week, the last week of actual content within the course book, we're looking at other designs, sort of like a catch-all for the other kinds of research designs that we use. And the focus that I'm looking at is longitudinal studies and small n, including one case studies. So small n refers to the number of subjects in your study. So usually we look at, studies try to get really large representative samples from the populations they're trying to understand. Now we know that can lead to an error, large samples tend to produce significant results from very, very small effect size. So that's one of the errors of having a large study. But I'm asking you to look at, what are the advantages of a small study? What does that allow you to do? So I have a quiz. That's all that's due today. I introduce a study as an example, and then I ask you a couple questions about that. Then I ask you something about small n. And I'm proposing that I use cohort sequencing. It's kind of implicit in the design. For 3 ages groups, I'm looking at how many friends do they reportedly talk to every day and seeing if that changes over time. Okay? I've looked, across 3 ages. 3 ages, is there a difference between age? The first question is, how do I turn this into a longitudinal study? How do I redesign that? Right now I'm looking at, basically what I presented is I'm going to survey each one of these 3 age groups, having them tell me today how many people do they talk to every day, how many of their friends do they talk to. And then I want you to come up with another design, another way in which I can conduct this experiment that would make it longitudinal. And then the next 2 questions are kind of pros and cons. Pros and cons for longitudinal study, and then pros and cons for small n. So this is just a bit of reading, looking at that content to get this final chapter all buttoned up and ready to spend the rest of the class looking at your studies. So at this point, we really should be coming around the bend in getting the surveys out there. I'm under the impression from the last assignments that some of you might be in the ballpark to use PSY234 to construct your survey. Okay, this is a learning process. I have access to Qualtrics, which is a professional grade survey software that I can help you use, but then I'm delivering you the data. You won't be able to monitor the data yourself as it comes in. Patrick has gone ahead and introduced me to an exquisite use of forms within Microsoft Word or Microsoft Online Services or whatever. Not even really sure how he did it, but he did a pretty amazing job. And that might be a tool that you want to use to collect your data. And then, of course, we have PSY234. PSY234 has some other features that are not in any of these particular survey tools, that you can actually run timed experiments and stuff like that within PSY234. It's actually, it's something that in the next round of these 2 classes, stats and research methods, PSY234 is going to become much more prominent in both of those classes, so that you can master that and actually conduct experiments that are not surveys. I think we're still, as a school, it's easy to do surveys, we've already talked about. They're cheap and they're easy to do. or most of our research methods projects, if not all, have been surveys of some kind. And Site Toolkit really allows you to move beyond that and conduct visual spatial experiments, reaction time experiments. I mean, really kind of getting into things that are not necessarily part of everyday surveys. So that's going to become a more prominent aspect of those two classes. Some of you are getting into that. It's a cool tool to use. It's also a good time as you're looking at your final papers, as you're coming in, to go back into your stats class and really make a concrete connection between the kind of data and relationship that you're exploring in your study and what statistical tool are you going to use. Refreshing your memory on how to do that in Excel. We're still working with Excel as our primary statistical tool, with the plugin that you did in the statistics class, and now it's coming full circle. What tool am I going to use to analyze my data once I've collected information from my survey? So that's stuff to do in these next weeks here. I'm available for consultation. Get these papers in. They were all graded this morning. Might be some more in there. I haven't looked at them yet, but certainly get those papers in. Let's get those surveys out there, and at least give ourselves a week at the end to do the data analysis. Now, because things kind of slowed down a little bit a couple times during the semester, and that's okay. We are looking at an extended semester, moving further past the end of the class. I'll be asking IT to modify the end date of the class. Still a good goal to try and get this done by the traditional end of this class, but you will have extra time if we need more time to get your study done. And we'll cross those bridges on an individual basis. So, but at this point, get your next papers in. Go and take a look at Patrick's work. I sent it out in the email to all the students in the KVCC community and others, and he already has like 50 some amount of responses. So good work for that, Patrick. That's an awesome start. Got it. You got more subjects than I got in my dissertation in just a couple days. So kudos to you on getting a good sample. So that's it for this week. Again, it's our last content chapter, and the rest of the class from this point on is going to be focused on your research projects. So be well, get outside. Nice sunny day today. Take care, and I will see you next time.